All right, so let's go to a professional golfer who was just at the Masters. Let's go to the sports hotline and welcome into the locker room, Wayne Player. Good morning, Wayne.
Hey, Bill. Hey, I want a little more enthusiasm from you this morning, brother. Okay, I cannot hear you. Come on, Bill.
Well, listen, I'm trying to get our listeners pumped up for the Masters because every year it's like a rite of passage. You see the television, the beauty of the Masters at Augusta, and of course we always hear and you see how tough the course is. I mean, you played that course many times. You're a professional golfer. I don't know. It's just a pretty cool time of year.
No, it really is. I actually just drove back yesterday, but I was up there for 4 days, and we walked the course, and we were there for 3 or 4 days. Listen, it is an amazing place. The dogwoods are out, the azaleas. It's just so beautiful. People have no idea. It's really not all about the golf, Bill and Scott. It's about the beauty of the grounds and the way they keep them and the pristine and how well they run the event. It's just incredible. It really is. It's mind-boggling. I can really tell you.
Now, Wayne, in preparation for getting you on today, Scotty McKay was telling me how you guys met, and I think it's pretty cool that you guys had an opportunity to meet. But I have one question before I turn it over to Scooter. Doug Frazier we had Doug Frazier on before you, and Doug, his family owned golf courses here in South Jersey. The name Frazier is synonymous with golf here in South Jersey. But Doug was saying how hard it is to walk, especially at the Masters. That he basically said that people don't realize it's just walking, but it's not. It's walking up and down hills and over what 48, how many holes? It's not easy.
Never mind just walking. How would you like to caddy around that golf course? I mean, I caddied for my dad when he turned 60, and he wanted to be the oldest guy to ever have made the cut. And I'll never forget, I was carrying his bag, and it was one of those big old pro bags that was really heavy. And we played the first 5 holes. It was kind of early. There was lots of dew on the ground. And we got to the 6th tee box, which is an elevated tee that goes down to the green below. And we left the tee box, and there were so many people on the gravel path that I decided to take a shortcut straight down the grass down this hill. Well, I got into a slide, and I ended up, 100 feet down on my ass. I just skidded all the way down. So, yeah, my dad's like, I wonder who that caddy is.
Right. He needs to get some better spikes. Wayne, it's great to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while, so really glad to have you on. Now, yesterday it was great to see your dad, Jack Nicklaus, and they did a nice tribute to Lee Elder. And along with your dad and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, they really paved the way. The legacy that they created in this game, they really paved for the way for all of us who are amateur golfers. But tell us about some of the important things that you learned along the way through your father.
Well, I mean, obviously the Masters is steeped in tradition. Number one, I mean, at the end of the day, that tee off, that started with Jock Hutchinson and Fred McLeod years ago, and they were teeing off in their 90s, but it's just, that's what tradition's all about, I mean, I think they honor their past champions so amazingly well. Even if you're not playing, you still go there. You go to the champions dinner. Usually they allow them to play in the par 3 event, which was not there. I mean, my dad won 3 times. My dad, Jack Nicklaus, won 6 times. And, I think, we obviously miss Mr. Palmer. I mean, he was incredible for the game. He was today, the modern day on Arnold Palmer was Tiger Woods, but Arnie was incredibly great for the game, and so was my dad and Jack. And to have them there, do the tee off and to kickstart the event is something really special. And I think now to honor somebody like Lee Elder, who really went through a tremendous amount of, oppression and things like that throughout his life, and he was the first black man ever to come to South Africa and play on the South African tour. He played South African challenge matches. He had a lot of pressure put on him to come out there. So I love Lee Elder. I've known him for years. I have such most admiration and respect. I've been to the Bahamas. I've staged golf clinics with him. and he is such a wonderful gentleman. He's certainly getting a little older, so I think this was a good time. You know, he had like ventilator pipes in his nose and all sorts of things. So it was really special to be there, you know, alongside my dad and obviously, you know, my hero Jack Nicklaus. I mean, I modeled my whole swing around Jack, you know, with a big stance, and I had a big, you know, one-piece takeaway, lower leg drive. So, you know, I think it's so amazing that these guys, I mean, everybody has so much respect for them. It's just a remarkable. And I was lucky enough to be at two Masters that my dad won in 1974 and 1978. He won them both, and I was never there in between. And then he started offering me appearance money.
Yeah, right. There you go. Well, tell our listeners about the course. Obviously, you know, we're going into day 3 of the Masters, and, you know, some of the names that didn't make the cut: Sergio Garcia, Dustin Johnson, Matt Kuchar, Brooks Koepka, Lee Westwood, Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay. There's some huge names that didn't. What's the difference? You know, last year Johnson was -20 to win this tournament. What's the difference in the way the course is prepared this year versus last year, and what makes it so more difficult?
Well, you know, last year was at a different time of the year. Firstly, this year the course looked a lot harder and drier. The greens looked really fast. I think they slowed them down a little yesterday, just so they weren't totally impossible. I mean, you know, if you get on the wrong side of the pin, I mean, I think the first round, Jordan Spieth from 4 feet was just trying to two-putt. He was just trying to lag it down, and he still ended up three-putting. So if you get on the wrong side of the pins, guys, and for the listeners out there, it is really impossible. So I wouldn't say it's luck. You have to really know. I mean, look at a guy like Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, you know, this guy's got all the details down. You know, and he shoots 76 and then comes back with a great round. So it's so exciting to see. It's so unpredictable what's going to take place. You know, you can see Justin Rose is leading at -7, and you've got this young buck, you know, Zalatoris. I mean, he looks like he's out. I could hardly pronounce his name, for crying out loud. You know, it's true. You know, I mean, I'm a little older. I'm 58, but you know, I've been around the block a few times. As Scott will tell you, I've loved doing what I do in my life, and I just think it's amazing to have, you know, Jordan Spieth right there. I mean, Jordan and Justin Thomas. I mean, this guy. I don't know. I think he's going to be hard to beat. It's hard to say because it's like a betting board. Could you imagine trying to have a bet on who's going to win the Masters? It's tough enough backing a horse to win. Never mind the whole star-studded field like these guys. They all play well, you know, and it's so easy. I mean, I don't know what to say about Rory McIlroy. He stands on the practice tee. He's just killing it, hitting the ball beautifully. I think he's just got himself paralyzed by analysis, guys. I really do. I think that, you know, his whole key with Rory from the word go, his coach always had him begin with the end in mind. He always tried to have good balance, very few thoughts, just rotated his body with one uninterrupted motion to the finish, stuck his finish, and that's all he thought about. I just think he's got a few demons. He's got a lot of stuff going through his head. You cannot be thinking about 3 or 4 key drills or ideas in the swing. It just doesn't work. And I think that's why Jordan's coming back. You know, he's got himself less confused. He's one hell of a putter, a hell of a chipper. Let me tell you, he's going to be tough to beat too. It's so great to see these young guys like Jordan and Justin and all the rest out there. And it's going to be such an incredible weekend's golf.
We're talking with Wayne Player, son of legendary golfer Gary Player. Of course, you can follow Wayne on Twitter at @PlayerApproach. @PlayerApproach on Twitter. And Wayne, let me ask you a question. Even though this course is so tough and it's very humbling, when I golf, and I'm a hacker, Scotty's a lot better than I am, but are these guys they're human beings, like, you know, we say he puts the pants on the same way I do. When a professional golfer, or like one of the top 5 top guys in the world, top 10 in the world, when they make a bad shot, or when they you know, have their ball hit the green and it rolls back into the water, does that mess them up? Does that get inside their head?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the toughest part. I mean, I think, you know, you just have to have the knowledge about the Augusta National. You've had to play there for a number of years. I mean, I remember caddying for my dad in when he turned 60. And we got to the 15th hole. He was even par the second day, laid it up. He had 81 yards to the front right. And he says to me, what do you think? I said, well, take your sand wedge at 60 degrees and nip it in there. He goes, well, if I really nip it and put too much spin, it can come back into the water. So I said, Dad, there's no way you can lay up. He says, I should take my wedge, hit a little knockdown in there, take the spin off the ball, and I'll take my 20-footer. I said, Dad, you can't do that. You got to go for it. So he takes my advice, right, Bill? And as he hits it, Scott, the ball's in the air. And he says, give me another one. That's in the water. I said, what? I said, the ball hasn't even landed yet. Well, it landed about 10 feet past the hole, took a little bounce and gave a little quick, how the ball comes back when it has spin. And he says, listen, just give me the yardage again. Give me that other ball. I'm going, Dad, that could go in the hole. Well, it took like maybe 20 seconds or so, and the ball rolled all the way back and came in the water. From that point, I never gave my dad any advice in my life again. When he asked me, hey, what do you think I should hit? I said, whatever you think, baby.
So exactly. Forget that you didn't give him any more. He was saying he wasn't taking any more advice either.
No.
Right?
He said, like, how far do I have? I said, about a block and a half, Oh,
so Wayne, are you still doing all your clinics, Wayne?
I don't do that many. Obviously, with COVID, I've been involved with events, and I did as many as 50 outings with John Hancock. I don't know where I met Scott, but it could have been one of the corporate events that I hosted, and I really love doing that, Bill. I'm a decent speaker. I love getting on the range. I love entertaining and telling the stories of my dad. And, there's so many great stories. I could have you on the line here for hours with all the stories I could tell you about my dad. But it was a cool thing to be able to be out there as the son of a legend who was and having been a decent player myself and played 3 majors, and I did that. But, we through this whole COVID time, I had to think, what else are we going to do? So we started a South African jerky company called Player Brand Biltong. And it is such an incredible product. It's a South African beef jerky made in the Carolinas, and it is an awesome product. It's got no sugar, low in carbs, and I encourage all the listeners. And sorry if I'm guerrilla marketing.
No, that's quite all right.
You got to go to playerbiltong.com, check it out. I'm going to send you guys some samples.
Right on.
And once you start on this product, you're never going to end. So my dad's always believed in health and fitness. And this is such a great product as opposed to carbs and all the junk we eat. And most jerkies are full of sugar. So we've got a product that's really killing it. It's a great brand based around the Player family heritage and our biltong, which was basically founded in South Africa and now born here in the USA and been made here in the USA. So I'm so excited about this product. We've been invited to Shark Tank, and we're really killing it. So, I've become like a golf pro. Now I'm in the food business, so you got to be kind of versatile, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I had the pleasure of the experience of a Wayne Player golf clinic when we had one back in, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. And it's one of the greatest times and made the game so much more enjoyable for everybody. Our brokers loved it. And Wayne was certainly a great speaker and a pure gentleman. So we appreciated everything that you've done with the game of golf. And we look forward to getting some of that jerky.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, you have to call it biltong from now on. Nobody knows who the hell biltong is, but you can call it Player Brand jerky if you want, but it's a new and improved way to make it. But it's all and for the younger generation out there, you got to be passionate about what you believe in and what you do in your life. And what I did with you guys, Scott, when I was on the road doing all these outings and connecting with you guys, I was very passionate and loved doing what I'm doing. And I think that resonated with you guys. And it's a shame that I don't do more of that, but it's not over yet. It's still something that I love doing. I love helping people. I love the fact that we've got a product now that's a great, healthier alternative to the regular snack items that people snack on. And I think we'll do a Player Brand beverage, something similar to an Arnold Palmer that's like really healthy with organic teas and stuff. And what a country, the United States. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You can never say die about anything. And that, at the end of the day, I felt like I was to a certain degree an entertainer. And that's what we have in golf. You know, there are a lot of great young people out there that are good entertainers. They're entertaining the crowd. They reach out to the crowd. You know what was one of the most touching things? When we got to the first tee on Thursday morning, just before we got to the first tee, Phil Mickelson and Bubba Watson were out there in front of the clubhouse with green jackets on, and they came to be part of that ceremony. And I went up and said hi to them, and Bubba was already teary-eyed. He hadn't even got to the first tee, and he was already teary-eyed. I was saying, Bubba, we haven't even hit the shot yet, right? I mean, it's so special to have seen those guys and a few other pros on the first tee, just witnessing, you know, this great tradition, and it was just awesome, man.
Well, that's going to be my bucket list. I've never had an opportunity to get down there. I've seen a lot of major sporting events, but have never made it to the majors. And I have a good friend of mine, Earl Clinton, who lives about 12 miles from Augusta. I played football with him at Lees McRae College in Banner Elk, North Carolina. I got to take him up on it one day because the beauty and the majesty and just the whole experience of the Masters is definitely something that I don't want to miss.
Right, it's like no other event. I mean, look, the viewership should be through the roof this weekend. I mean, literally. I mean, it was all these guys that are so close, and it's action packed, and it's such an unpredictable golf course, and the beauty about it, and the whole thing. You know, it's something quite special. I'm really enjoying the fact that I was up there. I walked the course, enjoyed it. Shook hands with a whole bunch of the guys, and now I'm back watching where it's best, and you can see all the golfers right in your armchair watching the tube. You know.
All right, wait. We got about 30 seconds left. Who's going to win the 2021 Masters?
I think Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas. All right, you heard it right here from Wayne Player. Wayne, listen, man. I really appreciate Scotty and I really appreciate you taking time out. I know you just drove back my 9-hour drive from the Masters back to your house, but I want to thank you so much for coming on the program this morning and talking a little Masters with us.
No, thanks, Billy. Thank you for having me on. It's been a real pleasure, and hope to do it again soon.
All right.
Sounds great, Wayne.
There he is, Wayne Player on the Sports Hotline.